Hi everyone, in this video I'm going to answer the question, which stock is the better buy, Mercadolibre or Pinterest? I want to give a shout out to my subscriber Debbie. Thank you for recommending or requesting this video. This one's for you. Thank you for being a loyal subscriber. So let's get right into it. Starting with revenue growth, let's compare these two. Mercadolibre grew at 44.78% in its most recent quarter. Pinterest, meanwhile, just 3.61%. And Pinterest revenue growth has been decelerating very quickly. And social media stocks overall, their revenue growth has decelerated significantly since early 2022 as Apple has made privacy policy changes that makes it more difficult for these companies to deliver targeted advertising. So that's been a headwind across the industry overall. Next, I wanted to look at operating profit margin over the trailing 12 months. Pinterest showed very good growth in its operating profit margin, rising in early 2020, in 2021, and then kind of hitting a plateau and then moving downward to negative 3.6% in its trailing 12 months. Meanwhile, Mercadolibre has been rising and continually rising and turning positive, going from negative operating margin of about 7.5% all the way up to positive operating margin of 7.33%. So not only the trend is looking good, but it's also in positive territory compared to negative territory for Pinterest. So far, Mercadolibre a considerable advantage on both metrics. The next metric I wanted to look at is cash flow from operations to sales. I want to see how good these companies are in turning $1 of sales into $1 of free cash, $1 of cash flow from operations. Mercadolibre, 21.72% of cash flow from sales, and Pinterest 16.74% in cash flow from sales, and the trend is in the opposite direction. Pinterest peaked out around January and moving downward. Mercadolibre bottomed out around early or late 2021 and has been moving upward. So both, again, in absolute terms, Mercadolibre better than Pinterest, and the trend, Mercadolibre better than Pinterest. So 3 out of 3 so far, Mercadolibre better than Pinterest across each of the 3 metrics that we looked at. Finally, I wanted to compare these two stocks on valuation. I wanted to look at the price to free cash flow and the forward price to earnings ratio. Measuring by the price to free cash flow, Mercadolibre stock is cheaper than Pinterest at a price to FCF of 35.18 compared to a price to FCF of 38.1 for Pinterest. Looking at the forward PE ratio, Mercadolibre is more expensive than Pinterest by a wide margin, more than double, at a forward PE ratio of 72.81 compared to a forward PE of 32.49. So, according to these two companies and these two metrics, I wouldn't say that either of these two metrics are more important for these two companies. Sometimes you have these metrics where there is some one-time items or some big changes that makes a metric more or less important. I wouldn't say that for these two companies. However, I will say that because we looked at those other metrics and Mercadolibre was so much better than Pinterest across those other 3 metrics, that I would say that Mercadolibre deserves the premium valuation over Pinterest. Now, does it deserve a more than 2 times premium valuation to Pinterest? You could argue for and against according to the price to earnings ratio, but according to price to free cash flow, Mercadolibre is cheaper. So if we blend these two, then you would say that, okay, Mercadolibre is more expensive than Pinterest. However, it's not overall more than twice as expensive as Pinterest if we look at both metrics. So overall, to answer the question, which one is the better stock to buy? I would say Mercadolibre is the better stock to buy if you're trying to make a choice between MELI or Pinterest. Social media, the industry overall, is going to be struggling over the next several quarters. Meanwhile, e-commerce growth, especially in Latin America, is going to be robust over the next several years. In fact, e-commerce growth in Latin America is forecasted to be the fastest growing e-commerce industry worldwide, right? That's where it's going to grow fastest. So, for all of those reasons, Mercadolibre, I would say, is the best stock to buy between these two. All right, so that's all I've got for this video. Thank you again, Debbie, for making the request. I hope you all come back and see me again next time for another one of my videos. Thank you for watching. I want to thank the Motley Fool for sponsoring this video. Visit fool.com/Parkev for the 10 best stocks to buy now.